distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good evening and thank you all so much for joining us. I'm Serene Damaki from ABC Radio and it's my great pleasure to be your host this evening here at Luna Park, Sydney. I have to say, this is one of my favourite events of the year because it's a reminder of the good that exists all around us. Kindness, courage, generosity, sacrifice are all weaved into the rich cultural heritage of our country. One of the great things about Australia and being Australian is that we always come together over the shared pride we feel for the Aussie spirit and mateship that defines us as a nation. The Australian of the Year Awards are committed to showcasing extraordinary members of our community. The nominees are people who roll up their sleeves, start movements, create conversations and lend a helping hand. The awards are not a role or a responsibility. They're a recognition of those whose day-to-day efforts are making a real difference to the lives of others. Whether you're here in the room with us tonight or watching online on ABC iView or at australianoftheyear.org.au, welcome. You're in for a wonderful celebration of some incredible Australians. We do encourage you to show your support on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram using the hashtag AusOfTheYear. That's AUS of the Year. I would like to officially welcome the Honourable Dominic Perrottet MP, Premier of New South Wales, the Honourable Patrick Gorman, MP, Assistant Minister to the Prime Minister, Andrew Parker, Chair of the Australia Day Council of New South Wales, Carly Brand, CEO of the National Australia Day Council, Dr. Stepan Kerkyasharian, Deputy Chair of the National Australia Day Council, our current 2022 New South Wales Australian of the Year recipients who are here with us this evening, Professor Veena Sahajwala, I did see you earlier, there you are, Abla Kadus as well, there you are. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. I'd now like to invite Nathan Moran to welcome us to country.
Bajari Warrigal, Dian Babana Gamarada, Gamaragal Nura. As the CEO of Metro Local Aboriginal Land Council, the representative body for all Aboriginal people of the place we gather this evening, it's a great honour to open tonight's New South Wales Australia Day Awards in language. I'd like to pay my respects to Paddy Garang for her gift of the Gadigal language. The words I open in translate as good evening, women, men, comrades, friends. We're on Gamaragal country. As the CEO of Metro Local Land Council, indeed it's a great honour to continue one of the oldest languages of Earth. But just as important is to acknowledge the Gamaragal, the place we gather today. You're all probably very familiar with the name Barangaroo. This is her country. She's the original member for the North Shore. We're also on the esteemed lands of Mosquito, one of the greatest warriors that this country's ever known and probably will ever know. I pay my love and respects to Mosquito, Barangaroo and indeed all the Gamaragal. The Gamaragal will and always are going to be the ceremonial leaders of the culture of what we know as Eora. We'll call it Eoraville or Sydney today. They led the ceremony of Eula where today the Parliament stands. It was led by Bullenderry, a leader of the Gamaragal people. It's no irony then that we stand here today to do one of our modern day ceremonies and acknowledging the significant, if not paramount, ultimately two deadly performances and commitments of New South Wales's people and acknowledging the Australia Day Awards for New South Wales. I want to pay my respects and honour but to the New South Wales Australia Day Council, to New South Wales Department of Premier and Cabinet for collaborating with us at Metro Land Council now consecutively for over 7 years next year. We've been assisting in developing things like Woolgalora to add our culture to ceremony, which I hope is assisting everyone to look at what we hope to become again. That meaning of that word, of course, means one mob, one people, Woolgalora. So as the CEO of Metro Land Council, the rep body for where you gather today, May you have a deadly evening celebrating all of the deadly New South Wales people, the achievements that they have, and hopefully we can find out more about who the award winners are for New South Wales. But for now, Bajuri Warrigal, good evening. Have a deadly evening celebrating achievement for New South Wales Australia Day Awards. Distinguished guests, it's a great honour to welcome you all to Gamaragal country. Always was, always will be Gamaragal. Thank you.
Thank you, Nathan, for that beautiful and important welcome to country. I now invite you all to stand as Adana Bowers, Year 12 student from the Macdonald College, performs the National Anthem. Thank you, Adana, for that lovely performance. For more than 60 years, unknown volunteers, pioneering advocates, and your humble neighbour next door have been nominated for an Australian of the Year award. These awards are community-led. They're for the people, nominated by the people, and chosen by a diverse selection panel of representatives from across our state. Anyone can nominate someone who inspires them, and the online nomination process is open to the public 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The nominees you are about to meet demonstrate courage, resilience, and selflessness. In times when Australians are facing so many hardships, these are the people that are tireless in their advocacy and demonstrate what it means to be a great Australian. Our nominees come from all walks of life and have their own personal stories about what motivates them. Their stories are inspiring, they're moving, and they allow us to reflect, to respect, and to celebrate our collective human experience of joy, of grief, hope and triumph, because we're all part of this nation's story. Now, if you're new to the awards, there are 4 categories: Australia's Local Hero, Young Australian of the Year, Senior Australian of the Year, and the Australian of the Year. We received thousands of nominations this year for those going above and beyond. From those nominations, tonight we celebrate 16 incredible people, recognised for their outstanding achievements, who represent the best of our state. This is no small feat. One recipient will be announced in each of the 4 categories, and those 4 will then go on to join the other state and territory recipients at the National Awards on the eve of Australia Day, which are announced by the Prime Minister and broadcast live on ABC TV and ABC iView. Whatever the outcome this evening, all our nominees richly deserve to be here. We congratulate them for their dedication, their perseverance, and their contribution to our country. Let's give them all a round of applause. I'll now invite Andrew Parker, Chair of the Australia Day Council of New South Wales, to share some words. Please give him a warm welcome.
Thank you, Serene. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. I would also like to begin by acknowledging the traditional custodians of the land on which we meet tonight, the Gamaragal people, and pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging. On behalf of the Australia Day Council of New South Wales, we're very pleased that you've been able to join us tonight, and we look forward to recognising the outstanding achievements of the 16 nominees for these awards. Thank you to the Premier, the Honourable Dominic Perrottet, for being with us again tonight and your support of Australia Day and these awards. We are also joined by some other special guests, the Honourable Patrick Gorman MP, the Assistant Minister to the Prime Minister, Carly Brand, the CEO of the Australia Day Council, Dr Stefan Karasharan, the Deputy Chair of the National Australia Day Council, the board members of both our national body and New South Wales Council, and the 2022 New South Wales Australians of the Year and our New South Wales alumni. Welcome. The Australia Day Council of New South Wales works in very close partnership with the National Council to present these awards. It is a long and special collaboration. And earlier this year I had the great privilege of chairing the nomination and selection panel. The panel, we deliberated for many hours, almost a full day, from many nominations that you just heard about. And I would really like to take this moment to thank the other members of that selection panel for their contribution. We all take this job very seriously. It is an immense amount of reading and material to digest, but it's also one of the most inspiring days we have in a year to read about the incredible contributions that you all make. And thank you to the people of New South Wales for the thousands of nominations that we received. So tonight we get to celebrate and acknowledge these remarkable achievements of the 16 who have been selected for their quite unique and inspiring differences that they make to this state, to this nation, and in many cases internationally. So congratulations to all of you. We recognise outstanding and diverse achievements, people who have given their time in times of need, who have worked tirelessly to improve the lives of this generation and next, and dedicated years of service, sometimes even decades, for your organisations and your individual causes. So we thank each of you for not only your contributions, but for the fundamental optimism that you give us in this state. And we wish you great success, not only tonight, but with our national selection process, and where you will have an incredible platform irrespective to demonstrate your excellence, innovation and passion. The Australia Day Council of New South Wales recognises that the past year has at times been incredibly difficult for many communities across this state. And we hope that Australia Day 2023 is a time to reconnect and walk together towards a positive and optimistic future. It's a special opportunity to recognise and celebrate the resilience of Australians who have overcome so much in these last 12 months, working with people and communities to reconnect and bring us back together as one. This Australia Day, as you just heard, is about encouraging our community to reflect, respect and celebrate. As a nation and our people, and especially this strong sense of community that is so unique to Australia. We also acknowledge that Australia Day means different things to different people, and that's a good thing. Our program acknowledges the significant contribution that everyone makes to our nation, from our First Nations people who have lived here for over 65,000 years to our newest migrants and citizens who have chosen to call Australia home. Australia Day is an opportunity to celebrate our cultural diversity and rich migrant heritage. It's a day for Australians of all backgrounds and communities to come together and share their stories, to embrace our diversity and celebrate a sense of unity. Our program in January will champion the vibrant and diverse state of New South Wales and reignite Sydney Harbour as a centre stage and backdrop for the nation. It begins at dawn. For the third year, we will have a reflective moment to honour the nation's traditional custodians as the Sydney Opera House and its sails are lit up with spectacular Indigenous artwork. We then head to Barangaroo, as you heard a little earlier, for Woogalora, where we'll be celebrating the 20th anniversary of this very special Australia Day morning ceremony. It was first held in the gardens of the Royal Botanical Gardens in 2023, when it was known as Wagamagu, and we are so proud to be recognising the importance of the world's oldest living culture since then as one mob. Throughout the day, Sydney Harbour, in all its glory, will burst with colour, spectator cheer and iconic favourites returning in 2023, including the Harbour Parade, the Ferrython, the Tall Ships Race and Defence aerial displays. Around noon, the Salute to Australia, which celebrates the extraordinary contributions of homegrown heroes and also our newest citizens, will take place. And we finish the day, the evening, in celebration with the Australia Day live event at the Opera House forecourt, which combines a spectacular land and water show with musical performance and a fireworks bonanza. But there are also many other ways to celebrate Australia Day in New South Wales and to mark the day. And that is, as I said, about communities, about reconnecting, enjoying our inevitable lifestyle, attending local events across the state, exploring regions, supporting local businesses, buying locally made Australian products, or coming into the Sydney CBD to enjoy various attractions and hospitality venues as the best city in the country. Many significant Sydney events will also be broadcast on ABC TV and iView. And there's more information at australiaday.com.au. And finally, I would like to thank our 2022 New South Wales recipients for being here tonight and for your contribution to our community. Vina, Abla, Daniel and Shana, thank you so much for what you have done with your year that has just passed and will continue to do with your extraordinary work and the platform that we hope Australian of the Year has given you. You certainly have made this state proud. And we're very excited that after a 2-year hiatus, our alumni event of 5 inspiring recipients from 2020 to 2022 has also taken place. So with that, I would now like to welcome the Premier of New South Wales, the Honourable Dominic Perrottet, to say a few words. Premier.
Thank you, Andrew, and can I thank the entire Australia Day Council of New South Wales for what they do. These awards and these events couldn't happen without the work that you put in day out to make this a reality. So can I thank you for that? Can I thank Nathan for that wonderful welcome to country? Obviously, many of the dignitaries have been mentioned today who are here with us. I do want to thank the Department of Premier and Cabinet as well, Michael Coutts-Trotter and Kate Maher, who are here for the work that they do and ensure that I believe these awards are the best in the country as we head into next year. But it is an absolute honour for me to be here tonight as Premier amongst the extraordinary people who we get to celebrate this evening. And as I travelled the state last week, I was fortunate in my role to shake hands with many people of a very similar character. As the relentless rain has soaked our state for many months and over a year and drained the reserves of so many people who were in harm's way, what I saw, and was a privilege for me, despite the devastation across our state, was the volunteers who had gathered. Whether they were uniformed or they were not uniformed, their determination to help people in need was truly, truly special. And to see that firsthand. And I saw that from Wamma last week to Moree. Countless locals who had left their own homes, their own property, to look after others who were affected and in need. And they were there to heed the call of people who needed help and who were in greater need of themselves. And I think that's something incredibly special about our people and about our country. And that same call for help has been heeded by every nominee who we acknowledge and who we celebrate their efforts this evening. Each of you have been drawn to your own unique calling in your own way, but you're also as one in stepping outside your needs to help others in need. Day in, day out, you've dedicated yourselves to a cause. And in doing so, the fact that you're here tonight, you've changed lives. And I want to thank you on behalf of everybody across our state. You embody the spirit of service of which our great nation was built. And on behalf of the communities across New South Wales who have benefited greatly from your dedication and your selflessness, you've all been nominated this evening because you've done that. You've changed people's lives and helped them for better. But you are nominated for these awards, Australia of the Year awards, because the work that you've done has also changed our state and changed our country. And you've done this by making our nation a place that you can all be a little bit prouder of. You've looked around from your own personal perspectives. You've understood the values of your own gifts and your own talents. You've seen a need or an opportunity, something about Australia that you think could be better, and taken it upon yourself to make it better. You've rejected complacency or any notion that this is as good as it gets. And because even though we are blessed, in my view, to live in one of the most prosperous and free nations in history, you see the untapped potential, you envisage a brighter future, and you carry us there. And that takes, in my view, perseverance, passion, and persuasion. But above all, it takes a love for our country. And there is a very old definition of love, which is to will the good of another. And your actions demonstrate that you will the good of this nation, the betterment of this great place. And because of your work, Australia has become a nation that we can all be a little bit more proud of. Now, you might think tonight is all about you, and in some way it is, but it's also about something bigger. And one of the reasons that we honour you tonight, and over the course of the evening we will share your stories, to put your spirit of service and sacrifice in the national spotlight, is to inspire other Australians from all walks of life to make their own unique contribution to this great country that we love. Because that is how a nation truly becomes great. It is by a labour of love by extraordinary people who give of themselves to make it better for all. So can I congratulate everybody who has been nominated this year. I want to give thanks as well, not just to you, but to your families, your friends and your communities who encourage and have supported all of your heroic endeavours. And I wish you all the very best, not just in the awards tonight and in the new year, but on your ongoing work in the service of the great people of our country. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Premier, for those inspiring words. Please remain on stage with me, if I may ask you, before you run away. I saw it too. I'm like, no, wait. As we move to the first category, because the time has arrived. Our first 2023 Australian of the Year Award for New South Wales is the category of Local Hero, which recognises Australians making a significant contribution in their local community. At January's national event, we'll be celebrating 20 years of the Local Hero Award, which has been supported by the Department of Home Affairs since its inception. To all of our local heroes present tonight or watching online, we want to say a massive thank you for the contribution to your local area and to our state. Let's hear it, ladies and gentlemen. And the nominees for the 2023 New South Wales Local Hero are
Mona Mohammed is the CEO and founder of Community Support Services Inc., a community hub providing services to the culturally and linguistically diverse community of Western Sydney. This includes providing the most basic of support, distributing nearly 150,000 kilograms of food to 25,000 people in 2021 alone. Mona also creates training and employment pathways for vulnerable women to help them gain financial independence. Christine Mostello runs South Lakes Incorporated in Lake Macquarie. The not-for-profit organisation manages 2 walk-in food banks and supplies breakfast clubs at 6 schools. South Lakes delivered food to 26,000 people during the first 2 years of the pandemic and donated $1.2 million to homelessness groups during lockdowns. Christine also created the Community Hair Project, offering free haircuts and toiletry kits to those in need. Shirini Parara-Jasingham is a pro bono practice executive whose colleagues describe her as the soul and engine of her firm's pro bono practice. Shirini has spent every Saturday of the school term for the past 18 years teaching English to new migrants. She's become the go-to person in her community for cultural, emotional and practical support for people in crisis. Amar Singh founded a charity after experiencing racial slurs and insults because of his Sikh turban and beard. He wanted to show people they didn't need to be afraid and began helping struggling Australians. Turbans for Australia has now delivered over $25,000 worth of disaster, emergency relief and daily supplies to some of the most vulnerable members of the community.
Aren't they amazing? We're all so lucky to have people like you in our community. Can I ask the 4 nominees or invite them to stand, and please join me, we've already done it but maybe one more, in giving them a well-deserved round of applause. Thank you. I now invite the Premier to announce the winner and present the trophy. Premier, please tell us, who is our 2023 New South Wales Local Hero?
The 2023 Local Hero for New South Wales is Amar Singh.
Congratulations, Amar Singh. Congratulations. What inspired you to do this work in your local community, Amar?
I think arriving here as a 15-year-old, I wanted to change things, and this is my country, sharing with our the nation people. This is our home as well. So we have to make a difference in everyday people's life, and that's what drove me to do what I do. If we can make a difference at a smaller level than what we do, I think that makes you sleep better at night.
What have been some of the outcomes?
It's been amazing. We've travelled to places that I've never been in Australia, like for example Lismore. In 25 years being in Australia, I've never been to Lismore. Since the flood hit, I'm there pretty much every single week, meeting beautiful people. For us, it's about connecting to humans on the other side. In regional Australia especially, they are very disadvantaged.
Thank you, Amar, and congratulations again to our 2023 New South Wales Local Hero. Now on to the Young Australian of the Year category, which is supported by the Department of Education. This award recognises inspiring young Australians aged between 16 and 30 years of age who have accomplished great things already and are making a positive difference. The nominees for the 2023 New South Wales Young Australian of the Year are
In February 2021, Chanel Contos asked on Instagram if any Sydney students had been sexually assaulted at school. The response was remarkable. Chanel then spearheaded a campaign that was successful in mandating consent education in Australian schools. Her TeachUsConsent.com platform is working with not-for-profit group Our Watch to create consent education materials and put an end to rape culture. When Lottie DL struggled to find reliable information about recycling and waste, she didn't give up. In 2018, she started Banish to fill the gap. Banish's website and social media provide information on sustainability and planet-friendly choices. Banish also has a program that accepts hard-to-recycle items. In its first 12 months, it helped recycle 11 tonnes of waste. Steve Dresler started Whatability from his Bondi apartment in 2019. Today it has more than 300 participants and support workers across the country. Whatability assists people living with disabilities to have fun and gain confidence out in the community. Steve also launched the Whatability Foundation, which unlocks ticketed experiences for people with a disability and their families. Christopher McHughes is a fiery and founding member of New South Wales's first Indigenous state mitigation crew in Birkenbrowarina. These all-Indigenous RFS firefighting crews protect sacred sites, care for country and fight remote fires. As well as looking after country, Christopher also cares for local kids, holding programs to help them succeed.
It's so reassuring to know that the future of Australia lies with fantastic young people like these. Can I ask our nominees to please stand up for a huge round of applause? And Premier, could you please tell us who is the 2023 New South Wales Young Australian of the Year?
Young Australian of the Year for New South Wales is Lottie DL.
Congratulations, Lottie DL 2023 New South Wales Young Australian of the Year. You're clearly passionate about what you do. Can you tell us a bit more about what motivated you to do this work?
I think I was that person who wanted to do the right thing. I was stuck, I was confused, I was overwhelmed, and I just thought to myself, I can't be the only one who can see what's happening to our planet and our environment and just feel so disheartened. So I thought, well, why not create a platform and somewhere where people can learn, and it's so easy that there's no reason not to live sustainably and not to recycle properly and get your hands dirty and start composting. So now I'm inspiring lots of people when they look at their rubbish bins to think of me.
Well, what outcomes are you working towards, Lottie?
Looking at rubbish bins and thinking of my face. But also I think Recycling in Australia needs a PR lift. We need to look at it like a resource, and we need to look at it like it's got value. Recycling isn't rubbish, and there is so much that can be done with it, but also sustainability. There is so much good happening in Australia in this environment, and there's so much doom and gloom every day, but there is also so much positivity that we can look at and we can see, and individuals can make such a big difference if we all collectively work together.
Yeah, hear, hear. And Lottie, our 2023 New South Wales Young Australian of the Year, thank you and congratulations again. And Premier, please feel free to take a seat. Thank you. Yeah, this time, yes. Yeah, you're all good. We pause our award presentations for a special video. After 2 years of cancelled alumni events due to the pandemic, our New South Wales Australian of the Year recipients could finally gather again to share their inspirational life stories. On Friday the 2nd of September, the first ever New South Wales School Students Forum was held, and more than 300 students from high schools across Sydney's West gathered at Western Sydney University to hear from 5 of our Australian of the Year alumni. The alumni who took part were 2022 New South Wales Australian of the Year Professor Veena Sahajwala, 2022 New South Wales Senior Australian of the Year Abla Kadus, 2021 New South Wales Young Australian of the Year Nathan Parker, 2021 Australia's Local Hero Rosemary Kariuki, and 2020 New South Wales Young Australian of the Year Corey Tutt. The students heard about the personal journeys of these New South Wales Australian of the Year recipients and how they've all made such significant impacts in their chosen fields. Following the forum, the students got to meet and ask questions of this amazing group and even grab a few selfies on the media wall. Let's have a look at what happened on the day.
Pretty surreal winning the award, pretty unexpected as well, because I see myself as just a normal everyday guy who's been through some challenges but has continued to set goals and dreams and chase those.
I felt all this happiness and honor, and it was really humbling for me.
For me, the privilege of having that award has also meant it has given me a voice.
Of course, I was honored and to be chosen as Senior Australian of the Year.
I didn't really think that it would be possible for me to win the New South Wales Young Australian of the Year because of the calibre of other nominees.
To be in a room full of so many amazing Australians, all with varied backgrounds, experiences and ideas, to spend a few days learning from them, getting their insights and their perspectives was a really eye-opening experience, and you sort of came away more motivated, inspired to give back and make a difference.
To listen to the work that they've been doing and the fun way in which, they talk about how they engage and inspire communities.
But it's something when we listen to each other's achievement or what they have been doing, and you start thinking, what can I do better? How can I? And then we also consult each other.
It really reassures you with all the things that are happening in the world that there is really deadly people doing really great stuff, and it always is and always was.
Unfortunately, I was involved in a bus rollover at the end of my second year at ADFA, leading to some of the injuries that I've got here this morning, such as the amputation of my left hand. And I thought that had basically crushed my career, but I've been incredibly lucky to have from that come so many amazing opportunities that's led to me basically sitting here talking to all of you this morning. I now get to instruct, so I teach people how to fly on a day-to-day basis, and teaching young people like me, 15-year-olds who they just want to fly. And I think for me that's almost more rewarding to be able to pass on what I've learnt, to pass on the experiences I've been through to help those people chase their goals and their dreams.
When I do anything, you do it for the sake of helping people in need. Don't do it to be recognized. Volunteering at a young age is so important because it shows you the other side of the world. The world is not only about you, it's about other people in need and how much you can help them.
it's always about starting locally, talking to people in your communities to understand what their challenges are. And if you listen to what your community members are saying to you, you can actually find different solutions.
My job here today is to show you that an average fella from Dapto who picked up snakes can start a charity and make a difference, and you can too. And that's the most important thing.
Everything that's happened for me has often been met with me sitting there going, oh, I can't do that. Oh, that's not for me. I'm not supposed to be an athlete. How am I going to fly with one hand? But by actually just taking that leap, taking that first step and giving yourself that opportunity to try something different, even if you think your idea is crazy and no one's going to listen to it, just take that first step, give yourself the opportunity to try, and you'll probably be really surprised as to what exactly will happen.
There will always be people who will look back and go, well, actually, I'm not so sure this is going to work, right? But what you have to do is put yourself way ahead of the curve and go, let me think about all of those difficult questions I'm going to face.
Perseverance, be organized, have a plan. Like everything, if you think ahead of what you want to do, there is a great percentage of succeeding. And if you don't succeed, you try again.
And to be able to have the opportunity for young people, high school students, to get that same opportunity, that same access to so many amazing people to get their ideas and their perspectives. I really hope they took a lot away from that and they go away today with some inspiration to chase their goals and their dreams.
I do hope that they take away positivity and optimism.
The most important thing in life, I feel, is to help others. Choose where you want to be, your future want to be, and this is the time you really need to sit down with yourself and think deeply. What do I do? What do I want to become? This is a very important time. It will decide on your future, so use it wisely.
I hope that I've shown them that I am a normal person and everyone else is just normal people, and there's a good currency in being good people.
The impact that you get out of helping someone, that's more satisfying than anything in the world.
This is our leaders of tomorrow. We need to encourage them, we need to show them that it's possible.
As you can see, the forum was a wonderful platform for our worthy recipients from the past 2 years to inspire the students to follow in their footsteps, perhaps even inspiring a future Australian of the Year. We're lucky to have some of our alumni who spoke at the forum here tonight. Can I ask Veena, Abla, Rosemary and Nathan to stand and please join me in giving them a well-deserved round of applause. Thank you. And Premier, can you please join us back up on stage for the Senior Australian of the Year Award? Thank you. Category partner, the Department of Health and Aged Care, presents our next award, the Senior Australian of the Year. This award celebrates the ongoing achievements of our passionate and committed Australians aged 65 years and over who inspire change and just won't take no for an answer. I personally love this award as we learn so much from our elders, and it's their resilience and positive attitude that impacts the generations to follow. The nominees for the 2023 New South Wales Senior Australian of the Year are
Astrid Hocking is extraordinarily passionate about helping vulnerable children and has looked after more than 90 kids over 24 years as a foster carer. She was deeply involved in providing better training and support for foster carers through Connecting Carers New South Wales. She's now retired from her paid role, but works just as hard caring for children as a volunteer. John Moriarty is a Yanyuwa man who was taken from his family, country and culture when he was only 4 years old. One of the stolen generation, he's dedicated his life to advancing Aboriginal rights. In 2012, he co-founded the Moriarty Foundation, which assists more than 2,000 Indigenous children each week in remote and regional communities. Former nurse Teresa Plain is recognised as the founder of modern palliative care in Australia. She studied the method overseas before opening a hospice and palliative care unit at Mount Carmel Hospital in Western Sydney in 1978. She's taught generations of nurses about empathy and dignity for the dying. After more than 40 years, she continues to demonstrate compassion and resilience. Dr. Bruce Watley is one of Australia's most prolific children's book illustrators and authors. He overcame a traumatic birth injury to have a successful publishing career and has released more than 90 titles since 1992. He also works to inspire creativity in children. Over the past 30 years, he's regularly visited schools and remote communities to nurture creative writing and art.
I'd like to invite these 4 nominees to stand, and everyone please join me in giving them a big round of applause. Thank you. And Premier, over to you. Who is our 2023 New South Wales Senior Australian of the Year?
Thanks, Serena. The 2023 Senior Australian of the Year for New South Wales, Teresa Plain.
Congratulations, Teresa Plain, 2023 New South Wales Senior Australian of the Year. This senior category, Teresa, is so special because you bring a lifetime of wisdom and experience to your work. What would you say has been the biggest change you've seen in this area?
Well, from in the 70s, palliative care was not even a word in the lexicon of health professionals. Today, thanks to many, many dedicated doctors, nurses, Push for Palliative, we have all been spruiking palliative care. And what is palliative care? It is love in action. It is a journey of hope and trust. It is seeing the invisible and doing the impossible. And I have been privileged to be one of the pathfinders, to have been inspired by Elizabeth Kubler-Ross, Dame Cecily Saunders and Professor Mount in Canada. And I'm so happy to be here tonight and have all the staff and the team of Mount Carmel Hospice acknowledged.
Teresa, on that note, what does this award mean to you?
Well, it means that I can go on being an apostle for palliative care. I'm a bit of a zealot, you know. I'm, of course, a member of Push for Palliative, but not only that, I have 2 radio programs, one of which is Aging with Attitude on Radio 2 RPH, 100.5 on the FM. And I can still spruik palliative care because it's what I want for every Australian who is living with a life-threatening illness so that their families can be supported right through their physical, psychosocial and spiritual pain, and that we can take care and prevent disease in the living by taking care of the bereaved. Thank you.
Our 2023 New South Wales Senior Australian of the Year. Thank you, and Teresa, congratulations once again. Our final category this evening is the 2023 New South Wales Australian of the Year Award, proudly supported by Australia Post, who is at the heart of Australian communities, connecting them with each other and the world. The Australian of the Year Award celebrates the achievements and contributions of eminent Australians who are role models for us all. Let's take a look at the amazing nominees in this year's New South Wales Australian of the Year category.
When the Uluru Statement from the Heart was read aloud in 2017, it was law professor Megan Davis's voice that carried it across the nation. Megan designed the process that led to the Uluru Statement, and she continues the dialogue with Australians for a constitutional First Nations voice to Parliament. Megan is inviting all Australians to walk with First Nations as they seek a better future. Craig Foster is one of Australia's most powerful social justice advocates. The former Socceroo and award-winning sports broadcaster is a fearless advocate for human rights, anti-racism, refugees and the disadvantaged. Craig uses his platform to help others, such as refugee and footballer Hakeem Al Arabi, who faced extradition to Bahrain from Thailand in 2019. He is also patron of Australia's Indigenous football teams. Dr. Barry Kirby was a 40-year-old carpenter working in Papua New Guinea when he witnessed the preventable death of a woman. He decided the country needed more doctors, that he needed to study medicine, and that he'd return to PNG with his new medical skills. He kept his word. He's since focused on helping rural women have safe deliveries, with his interventions saving multiple lives. Professor Kelvin Kong is a proud Worimi man and Australia's first Indigenous surgeon. As an ear, nose and throat surgeon, he's dedicated his life to improving Indigenous ear health, as well as raising awareness about rates of ear disease in Australia, which are unusually high for a developed country. Kelvin's mission is to ensure all children have the same opportunities to hear well and achieve their full educational and social potential.
Can I please ask the nominees to stand where you are? Let's give these amazing Australians a massive round of applause. Premier, the time has come.
Here we go.
Who is the 2023 New South Wales Australian of the Year?
Well done to everybody to get this far, but that's to be one winner. The 2023 Australian of the Year for New South Wales, Craig Foster.
Thank you, and congratulations, Craig Foster, 2023 New South Wales Australian of the Year. The Australian of the Year Awards have certainly given past recipients a great platform to affect change or start a much-needed conversation. What would you like to see, Craig, as the next step for you and your work?
Yeah, thank you. Oh, look, I'm delighted to be here this evening and to be in this room with so many incredible community contributors and advocates. It's really quite extraordinary, and I echo what Dominic was saying earlier. It does really make us proud to be Australian, and I feel that the community work and all of us taking an opportunity to just reach out a hand, help someone who perhaps we don't know, who's in need. You know, at the moment, following COVID, there are more Australians who, for instance, are in need of food every day, who are in need of all of our support, and those of us who have not just a platform but the financial means, the tools, the experience, the community connectivity, whatever we have at our disposal, I think we have a responsibility to do something. You spoke earlier about my beautiful community up in Lismore. Dominic and others have this evening, and they've been so harmed by the awful floods, and we saw that recently in Victoria as well. Hello to everyone up home in Lismore. But when you talk about those people who got in boats, took their own boats out into the water and just went and rescued people who they didn't even know, that's what makes Australia what it is. That's what makes Australia so great. But we don't all need a boat, and we don't need a flood. All we need is, every day there are people in our vicinity who need our help. And to the extent that if we take one action, we help one person in our street, in our family, in our extended friends, in our community, in our state, and ultimately that's what forms a nation. So it's these awards and the work of all the people here, and Barry and Megan and others. What you've done is really extraordinary. It demonstrates, I think, that we can all have immense hope, and we saw the young Australians of the Year here, Chantel and everyone, and Lottie, really extraordinary work. I guess to finally answer your question, what I would like to see more for Australia is what I like to call active multiculturalism. As a young male growing up in the far north coast of New South Wales, it was not until I was 15 that I stepped into the beautiful game of football, and with so much extraordinary diversity. But diversity is not belonging, and diversity is not welcoming. Multiculturalism is about each of us helping each other. And so to do that, we have to step across the boundaries. And you see Omar doing that with the Turbans for Australia, and see so many people in this room and the thousands who were nominated for these awards doing exactly that. When one of our beautiful multicultural communities is in trouble, it's all of our responsibility to reach out the hand and step across that line. When one of our faith groups is attacked, all of us must support them immediately. When First Nations people, and we see what's happened with young, beautiful Cassius in recent days, every one of us has to speak out and stand up. Doesn't matter what tools we have, doesn't matter what platform we have, just do something, say something, and in doing so, we all help to make Australia a better place.
Ladies and gentlemen, your 2023 New South Wales Australian of the Year. Thank you. And Craig, congratulations again.
Thanks.
Congratulations to our 4 recipients for 2023 tonight. Can I ask Amar, Lottie, Teresa and Craig to stand? I invite you to stand if you like, just so we can show you our appreciation. Everyone, put our hands together and make some noise. Let's have this one last just a little bit longer. All right, there's a lot of excitement in the room. But before we all run off, 2 things. To all 16 nominees here today, congratulations. Someone in your community thought you are amazing, and you all are. We do hope that this has motivated everyone watching and listening to get involved and nominate someone who inspires you. Just go to australianoftheyear.org.au and follow the nominate button. Now, none of this would be possible without our partners. We would like to take a moment to acknowledge the generous organisations who make this awards program possible. Firstly, with some brief messages from our National Diversity and Inclusion Partner and our category partners.
Ingenuity,
creativity,
and innovation.
passion,
purpose, and the pursuit of excellence.
inclusion,
And the idea of a fair go.
At Chevron, we believe in human energy.
That's why we support the Australian of the Year Awards.
as the National Diversity and Inclusion Partner, celebrating the achievement
Of outstanding Aussies. And from every walk of life.
Because we're all part of the story.
For over 200 years, Australia Post has been at the heart of Australian communities, connecting them to each other and the world. We're thrilled to recognise the incredible Australian of the Year award recipients who make such a profound contribution to their communities and to our nation. We're proud to support the Australian of the Year award and join you in celebrating these inspiring Australians.
Senior Australian of the Year Award recognises and celebrates the incredible achievements of older Australians around the country. As the Minister for Aged Care, I want to congratulate all of you on being nominated. Ageing well means staying healthy and connecting with community. Improving the lives of others shows your continued passion and commitment to living well. I wish you all the best in the finals, but importantly, I want to acknowledge that every one of you should be proud of your continued achievements. You are an inspiration to all of us, and your legacies will benefit the nation for generations to come.
As the Minister for Youth, I'm thrilled to congratulate the 2023 State and Territory Young Australian of the Year finalists. Your perspectives as young Australians on major issues and decisions our country faces are unique. It's invaluable to engage with young people and to hear your innovative ideas. You've each been recognised for the significant contributions and unwavering dedication you have given to your communities, having a real impact on people's lives. These outstanding and inspirational achievements should be celebrated and commended.
Australia's Local Hero Award is a celebration and acknowledgement of those in our communities who reach out a hand to help others. Their selfless actions have a life-changing impact on those around them. Thank you to each of the finalists for being outstanding role models for all of us. Congratulations.
Thanks go to Chevron, Australia Post and the Departments of Health and Aged Care, Education and Home Affairs. We also thank our broadcast partner ABC and ABC iView, who connect us with communities all around Australia on TV, radio and online. Thank you to our media partner Australian Community Media, who supports our call for nominations nationwide through their leading rural and regional news brands. Excuse me. Thanks to our alumni partner, the International Day of People with Disability, which is marked on the 3rd of December each year. We thank our official hotel partner, the Crown Plaza Canberra. We appreciate your warm hospitality for our recipients, especially in January. We would also like to thank our cultural partner, the Australian National University, who support us through its School of Art for the trophies and School of Music for our announcement anthem and events in January. Our thanks also go to exhibition partner, the National Museum of Australia, who deliver the Australian of the Year exhibition around the country throughout the year. And last, but certainly not least, we appreciate the continued support of our legal partner, Minter Ellison. Please join me in thanking our partners for their vital ongoing support. Congratulations to all our recipients tonight. Amar Singh, 2023 New South Wales Local Hero. Lottie DL, 2023 New South Wales Young Australian of the Year. Teresa Plain, 2023 New South Wales Senior Australian of the Year. And Craig Foster, 2023 New South Wales Australian of the Year. We will need to take some official photos of you with your trophies, so please stay close by. On behalf of all of us, I wish our nominees every success in their future endeavours. To our recipients, we wish you all the best in the next stage of the program. I encourage everyone to think about who inspires you and nominate them now at australianoftheyear.org.au. And don't forget to tune in for the National Awards on January 25th, the evening before Australia Day. Just like tonight, it truly is a beautiful and inspiring event. And that brings us to the end of the formal proceedings. Please join us now for dinner in the Sunset Room next door. You'll find your table number on the ticket presented to you upon entry, and event staff are also on hand to assist you finding your table. Can I please ask the 4 recipients to make their way towards the stage beside me with your trophies for official photos. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, thank you and have a very lovely evening.